Bitcoin went up $1,000. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name's Artie with CoinCasso, and in this video, we're gonna go over the top cryptocurrency prices. We're gonna talk about why Bitcoin hit almost 10,500 last night, go over some analysis, look at the MACD, look at the RSI, look at the trends, and we're gonna take a quick look at the news to see if there's any articles written as to why Bitcoin went up $1,000 in the last 24 hours. Welcome back to the channel, friends and subscribers. If you aren't subscribed yet, make sure you hit that red subscribe button and tick the notification bell to get notified every single time we upload a new video. Now, I know you guys are just as excited as I am, so let's jump into the top cryptocurrency prices really quick, and then we're going to talk about Bitcoin. Currently, Bitcoin is at $10,089.03, up 5.7% in the last 24 hours. Ethereum up 3.7% at $248.26. EOS up 4.3% at $2.83. And Litecoin, matching its older brother, up 5.5% at $48.83. Now let's dive into the computer and do a little bit of analysis on this. If you look at the chart here, you can see at around 6 p.m. Eastern time, we saw a massive spike up, nearly hitting that $10,500 mark, then subsequently dropping back down, but staying above that $10,000 barrier, which is a very good sign. Okay, so now we have TradingView up, and I want to show you guys this chart. What I like to do is look at three key indicators. The 4 EMA, which basically matches the Fibonacci, gives you the moving averages at 8 days, 13 days, 21 days, and 55 days. I also like to have the MACD pulled up as well as the RSI. The reason I like the MACD so much is because it shows the ebb and flow of the market. You can see it always weans up and then weans down. The reason this spike is so interesting to me and that I did not actually see it coming is if you look at the RSI, usually we have this weaning taper. And when it switches from positive to negative, it's a very small increment. Here you can see we skipped the entire weaning phase and just shot straight up to 3 gigantic candles. The same thing with the RSI. The only time we see a massive increase or a massive decrease is when it's outside of this purple range. Now let's take it out a little bit further to the one-day chart. The reason I like the 4MA so much is because it gives you an indicator on when the market's going to spike up. If you follow this indicator, when the planets align and the 8 is above the 13, is above the 21, is above the 55, that's when we should see a spike increase. And here again, if you look at the MACD, we did see that nice taper off, which is why I like looking at the one-day chart, because it gives you a better representation of what the market is doing. And again, in the RSI, we are still in that purple range. Because we're using daily moving averages, the 8, the 13, the 21, and the 55, being on the daily chart gives you a better representation of that. Now I've zoomed out to show you the trend of the market since this last peak at 13,779. If you put up these parallel lines and touch as many of the resistance points as possible, you're going to get a good indication as to where the market is trending. As you can see, overall, we were trending downwards. But as of May 7th, we've actually broken out of that trend and are starting to climb upwards. So if we draw new trend lines, because it is starting to go up, we now see our new trajectory, hitting key resistance points like 12,000. So theoretically, even if it does drop back down, we won't get below 9,900. But that's only if we continue this upwards trend. If we start to come back down, this resistance level has now turned to a support. So on the far downside, say August, we're looking at a low of 8,000 and a potential high of about 15,000. Now, why did we see this massive spike? When you look at all the analytics, you look at the RSI, you look at the MACD, you look at the trend lines, nothing actually lines up the way it should. But now, if you look at the daily volume in the last 24 hours, I'm on CoinMarketCap right now, which shows you the volume of every cryptocurrency in the last 24 hours. And Bitcoin had 37,897,000,000 worth of volume traded in the last 24 hours. This either means that there's a few individual gigantic whales getting into the market, or these big financial institutions like JP Morgan have allocated 1 to 2% of their assets, like they mentioned that they were going to do, into their portfolios. This is a massive buy-in. We haven't seen volume like this since the March 12th crash, and that volume was going down. Now let's jump into 3 news articles to see if there's any different information in here. This first article is titled "Bitcoin Rises Above 10K for the First Time in 25 Days as Protests Roil U.S. Cities." At around 7 p.m. Eastern Time, Bitcoin rose from 8,895 to about 10,429 over the course of 30 minutes. The large spike in Bitcoin's price comes as violence erupts on the 6th day of protests over the death of George Floyd at the hands of the Minneapolis police. Bitcoin has cooled slightly and is currently changing hands for around 10,191. I honestly don't think this is about the riots. I don't think that people are distracting themselves from the riots in the United States to jump into Bitcoin. So this is definitely a speculative article. This next article is titled Bitcoin Price Surges to 10,380 as Trump Threatens Military Crackdown. Bitcoin has broke the $10,000 barrier and rallied to 10,380 for the first time in 3 months. The move above the crucial $10,000 mark occurred as U.S. President Donald Trump mobilized local police and the National Guard to disperse masses protesting on the White House grounds. Again, this is completely speculative. Because those things coincided at the same time, I don't think everybody got distracted from rioting in the United States to actually purchase $38 billion worth of Bitcoin. And this last article is titled Bitcoin Braces for 11,000 on Weaker Dollar Demand. Bitcoin rose above 10,000 in an overnight rally Monday for the first time since May 8th. The gains surfaced as investors sold the US dollar for riskier assets amid optimism about the economic recovery. Other factors, including the US-China tension and the stock market's upside, also contributed to the rally. On Monday, the WSJ Dollar Index, which measures the greenback against 16 other currencies, plunged 0.57% to 92. Observers noted that the investors sold the dollar to buy riskier currencies, a sentiment that may have fueled the Bitcoin price rally above 10,000. Now, this makes a lot more sense, but not in the volume that we saw in the last 24 hours. I honestly think that these large financial institutions moved a lot of assets into Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. I'd love to know your guys' opinion. Comment down below and let me know why you think Bitcoin went up $1,000 in the last 24 hours. Also, let me know if you like the new format of this video, combining the Bitcoin price and the Bitcoin news and analysis into one video instead of having two every day. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.